Let's get Series E Series Recap underway.
And now we're seeing it once again, just like Game 2, slowed down, but Fury won
time and time again, and cheese it. They think they're winning it. Chances are they're winning it.
But it gets thirsted by Zera Tricky as Hacula is going to come around the corner with the spray, and now it's just one player alive over here, and this was...
All right, and of course, we cannot start with anything else but Apex Legends, and I've got my friend Zephyr joining me on Series Recap today to break down all of the fun. Zephyr, it's good to talk to you again, my friend. How are we doing today?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful here. It's a pleasure to finally have the opportunity to chat with you here on the recap. Maybe a little bit more directly. I know we go particularly way back, I think.
Honestly, yeah, all the way back years ago into like the League of Legends space and all that good stuff. And it's good to get to, dock it out here for some Apex Legends. Of course, we did just recently wrap up Week 7 of action. A couple of awesome nights of play between Open Night and Pro Night. We're going to really dig into all of that, as well as our thoughts on some of the changes coming for Season 12, which is right around the corner. But before we do that, let's check out how the action went down this week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Series E.
Season 4 Apex Legends.
But Intel has had the frag potential throughout the rest of this game. They're trying to reposition here, but Fearless gets pressured out, and Mooney doesn't have his shield. Here comes the Horizon vertical ability here, but with Intel now down 2 members, can Mooney do it alone?
I don't think so, because the help just looks so strong on the Lazarus side. That's it, game number 1. Yep, 2v3 coming in. And this could be the first win for the new Splash squad. It's looking pretty solid so far. The defensive environment's already been used by Rock to secure that kill. But here goes the portal for Prodigy Aces on over towards the ground to try to buy some time and some more angles for the rest of the team. You can see the knock goes on the Rock, but that should be it. And there it is.
Getting that knockdown, Nerf are going to be able to move in with the health advantage. Now that Turn has put down the Caustic Nerf.
Oh, Turns coming in with the hurt. Now the flank coming through on over towards the other side. He's taking a lot of damage. He's dealing a lot of damage. That's going to be Malicious Mike going out. Fury is going to take 3rd place. Dome coming down for Nerf. And it's all Nerf in game number 3. Bubble as well. Going to heal up on over towards the edge. Fury cutting off that angle with the alternator. It's just a matter of time before Song gets taken out. And there it is. Enemy bubble going down. We all know the rules. We talked about it. And that sometimes is what happens when you don't have a Gibby. It gives you this aggression. With this extra wingman damage, there's 90 on over towards the right-hand side. Zone starting to close. Things getting a little bit hairy here for the Boston Monsters as Team Nerf is just setting up perfectly with these wingman shots connecting from Dimmy. I don't think there's a chance. And unfortunately for Raven, that's all she wrote. Team Nerf taking it to him there. So the team's on over towards the building. And there it is. Mufasa.
Mufasa, you are good. I cannot believe what I've seen from Intel. The black hole at the very end. It just pull in everybody from CCE. And Tom, you ask me, you shall receive.
Team Intel, let's take a look at that Mobile 1 leaderboard to find out exactly where everybody else fell behind, basically, because it was 1-1-7. All Master Chief Vicky, Team Intel just dominated.
Thanks so much for coming to hang out with us today. Team Intel, of course, to nobody's surprise, finishes on top of Team Vizio in second party.
Welcome to Series E. It is Pro Night. We got T-Cubed out here. It's T-Squared and Tony bringing you the action. And hey, it's Week 7. We had an awesome day yesterday. 6 doesn't care that the ring is chunking him from the side. That's going to be Nocturnal going out. Panda's going to get the kill for that. And the way that Ghost Gaming is streaming right now, the momentum that they have after winning that, I would wonder who's going to be able to actually take them out. Is it going to be Xset? Xset, are they going to go from worst to first, basically? They barely could get a kill on top of the ledge, and now they're just mopping the lobby. Xset's going to take game number 1.
9 full players on every team. Loaded petty bosses come in, should be able to armor swap real quick. Or as I say that, Nerf is starting to, they're coming in, but the shots are as well. Intel on top, and now the Intel versus the Devotion, putting down the work. 3 players with red shields, and enough for Exit to put.
Duking it out with complexity across the map. This is going to land inside of that gully area with teams already sitting. Oh my, shots coming in from Hal. 76, double heady into the body there onto Nocturnal, who didn't stand a chance. Now we're in a straight up 3-on-3-on-3 situation. What grenades? Oh my goodness, they bounce Hal into the ring as well. It doesn't get much better than that. Those were the best nades I've ever seen.
And those like reps trying to punch How into that bubble, so they're gonna play the revive. Meanwhile, Esports Arena City with all red shields. The Oswald bombardment is coming in, and that bubble is being expired. That's gonna be it for that team. They're going down to left and right. We're down to 2 squads remaining, as that's gonna be the final player to fall. And it looks like they're going right in. Complexity ends up losing their Gibby player. It looks like the Vapors are gonna go down as well. So a 1v1 situation. Skittle Cakes trying to put down the damage with the flatline.
Oh!
Ends up having to come.
Just such perfectly designed plays coming in from the Vizio squad, forcing the other teams into each other. G2 trying to stay alive. Gentrifying somehow took on over towards the high ground. Now it's a 2-on-1 situation for him, but you also had Splash that lived throughout all of that. So even though Vizio was able to force both of those teams into each other, they still are faced with having to end this game with Gentrifying down to a little bit more HP, and that is it. Vizio is going to take that dub. He's still fairly healthy. It's just a matter of time before they go and pick these players apart. One knock already coming through. Knock with the ADS down sight there too. And you can just see how desperate the rest of the XSET squad is to survive. I love that play from Skittle Cakes, trying to push in, trying to get the quick little armor swap. There's the last player alive, and Esports Arena is able to stop XSET from winning 3 games. They take game number 5.
Now, but luckily Vizio love a challenge. Dropped out coming in, going with the bubble first, with bubble on bubble. The Peacekeeper coming in. The shots are starting to fly. Skittle Cakes going to be the first one to go down. It looks like Duplex is as well. There's only one more player left, and that's going to be it. Vizio taking game number 6.
But what a performance from XSET and Esports Arena. And taking a look at the winner, it's actually Team XSET. I'm getting word, yes, it does say Team Esports Arena is in first place, but I'm hearing a double tiebreaker from our production team, and XSET is actually the winner of the tiebreaker. So congratulations to Team XSET for taking first place. Team Esports Arena is going to be walking away with second place. I know, Tony, absolutely crazy that it's only 1 point separating these teams.
A fun week of action there in which we saw Intel take the win on open night and XSET on pro night. We want to dig into both of those performances and talk about both of those teams, but let's start with Tuesday night here. And we have a graphic here that I put together specifically pulling apart Intel's stats from Tuesday night. So I do want to take a look at that as we kind of start this discussion. But Intel specifically is a squad that I've been pretty tough on over the last month or so. I've been really looking for them to have that standout kind of defining performance where they kind of make a statement as, you know, we have arrived in this season, and we definitely got it Tuesday night, Zephyr. Look at 85 kills, average damage over 4,400. Fearless leading the team with 35 kills just on his own. That was quite the statement from Intel on Tuesday.
I mean, this series alone for Intel is something of a monument for Series Z. I don't think we have ever seen anyone control a game with such a level of dominance as the Intel squad. And the craziest thing is it's been, what, almost 4-5 weeks since we've seen Intel kind of provide themselves into the top 5 in anywhere.
It's been quite a while, and, you know, I put up there, is this a start of Intel's redemption arc? And I certainly think it could be. Now, you know, we do have to qualify at that. It is just one big performance on a single night, but they did follow it up with a good showing on Wednesday, and I think I saw a lot of signs in their play Tuesday night of a lot more confidence, right? Something we'll talk about a little later is, you know, the composition they're playing with the Horizon, mixing things up a little bit. But I saw a lot of confidence in Intel's play that I think will translate into further success in the future. Now, do I expect them to come out and put out over 100 points every single open night? No, but I think what we can expect after that performance on Tuesday is more consistently seeing Intel, as you mentioned, challenging in that top 5, being a contender with Vizio, and I was really impressed with what I saw.
Absolutely. I think to kind of summarize, maybe put that one to a more concrete point there, you saw a lot of direction out of the Intel squad for once, and they were actually kind of pulling the trigger when needed to do so, right? We talk a lot about some of their finishes, especially down towards the south when we go to that village out towards the west of Thermal Station. We saw them actually end out twice there. And the craziest thing, I want to make sure to bring this up because it was the best moment of the night, was we saw them finish second to start out off the first time that we saw them in that village. It was really successful how they were able to attribute their success to how they held out in their individual building, take out 2 squads below them, and while they weren't able to find the victory, they still showed a lot of prowess that we see out of squads like Vizio and many others. But the craziest part is they got redemption later on in the night. The same building, they were back at it, and they were able to pull that one off, and that's where we get that amazing clip of Petty there with the Horizon ultimate, the black hole to secure that one. And that's something, all these movements, the choice of action, we have not seen that out of Intel here in quite some time. So that's something that I think is really separating them. I don't know if it's the Horizon, but it definitely looks good when we see the clip.
Yeah, decisive and aggressive, because if you look at their finishes throughout the night, they had, I believe, 3 games where they didn't even finish inside of the top 8, and still 2 of those games they had over 10 kills. So even if they weren't getting into those super late circles, they were being very efficient with their time in the gaming, getting a lot of those early squad wipes. So they were making very efficient use of the time that they had in the server, and that's why that kill number is so high. I mean, literally, if you take away all placement points they had, they still would have been in first place because of just how crazy they were fragging out. So really impressive in what we saw from Intel on Tuesday night. Let's jump into Wednesday. I know you really wanted to talk about XSET with the performance that we saw from them on Wednesday. This is their first Pro Night win since week 2 of this season. It's a squad that has historically, even in the old iteration of the roster, been fairly successful in Pro Nights here in Series E, but we haven't necessarily seen them translate that elsewhere into like the ALGS. And specifically, if you look at the way they played on Wednesday night, they had 3 top 2 finishes and 3 20th place finishes in the 6 games. What stood out to you from XSET on Wednesday?
I gotta say, XSET is his. Maybe take this as a compliment. They are 50-50. Before they were basically nothing.
The coin flip team.
Right. They are the coin flip team, and we, of course, are going to attribute a lot of that towards CLG, right? Of course, their start there. But I want to make it clear. These guys were sitting 20th and pretty for the last 3 weeks here at Series E. I mean, a consistency that was found in 6 games continuously, right? Mm-hmm. And what they have done here, especially coming out of our last Pro Night, is the fact that they've shown improvement, especially on the speed of rotation and how they are handling that initial drop. We can go back. I was casting with Tom, I think week 5, and this man was, he had some choice words to say about the XSET actions coming from Pro Night, and maybe regarding the pacing and how they were taking up the fight against CLG. And that was something that was holding them back, right? But with these weeks and how they have kind of moved forward here, we've seen them clean up the 50-50, right? They've learned to extend the trade when necessary, but if it doesn't work out, the rotations do actually come through now. And the thing is, XSET is a great team. When they are put in the position to go for that victory, they can find those top 2 positions that we have seen here. So I have a lot of hope for this team. They still are kind of struggling in that realm of the CLG mono action, but it has consistently gotten better.
Yeah, I think the important piece of context to kind of wrap up that, coin flip team title with is this isn't just like a coin flip of like good game or bad game. It's great game or terrible, right? The variance is incredible with that coin flip, and it's cool because I feel like this is a team that I'm excited to watch when they are on their game, as we saw on Wednesday night. When they're going, they're really fun. You have a lot of confidence for them to execute in those late circles and take victories. But then again, if you hit that bad coin flip, it's just like, did XSET even drop? Like, were they even in the server? Did it even matter? So I would love to see them hopefully shore up some of those early mistakes. If I'm being honest, and this is coming from a guy who I own 2 CLG jerseys. I'm literally wearing like a CLG t-shirt right now. XSET should not be regularly losing fights to CLG. I think they are just pound for pound a stronger team. And I think while CLG's, I don't think we've seen like the peak of what that roster can do. I think they still have a lot of work to do. Whereas XSET, I have higher expectations of this roster right now. they should not, in their current form, be losing early fights that consistently to CLG. And I feel like once they can shore that up, I think that floor that we expect from them rises so significantly, but there's still some issues clearly to work out there.
Yeah, I think there's a realm here where we need to see a more specific set of actions kind of taken from XSET, especially in that 50-50, right? Because so far, I've seen kind of a wash in terms of how they land, how they approach the Harvester region when they do get into game, and sometimes it's fantastic. They're perfect in response to what CLG has set up, and they come out on top, and then suddenly, you know, we're looking at a first-place finish here in this Pro League. But then other times, which I don't want to put the blame too much on XSET. This does come from the fact that CLG are pushing this one consistently. They are changing it up. And so what works in game one isn't always going to be the recipe in these further games. But I feel like there might be a way to kind of slow it down within those first 10 to 20, put them on a footing to where they actually are going to be able to say, hey, we could potentially take this fight against CLG, or maybe it's kind of this idea that we need to pull away, look for the rotation. I mean, Harvester gives you the option to potentially go anywhere, and that's the reason why when they do come out on top, they're able to kind of push this one forward all the way into those top 5 finishes.
Tons of agency. Yeah, tons of agency, certainly for XSET when they execute on those early plays, and would love to see them continue to do so in the future. Before we get into some overall standings discussion and predictions, I know we really wanted to dig into the changes coming in Season 12. Of course, the new season starts next week. The patch goes live February 8th, which I believe is next Tuesday. So few questions we wanted to dig into. The first one that you highlighted, of the 3 maps currently out of rotation, which will be the first to enter ALGS? I'm just going to preface this with my one point, not Kings Canyon. I'm just going to say that.
Yes!
Not Kings Canyon. You don't get to come to ALGS. That map needs a huge rework. So which map that isn't Kings Canyon will be the first to enter ALGS other than World's Edge?
Okay, so you make this sound like there's multiple. We only got the option between Olympus here and Stormpoint, okay? I feel like I'm going to make someone mad. And whatever my option is here. But I will say that Stormpoint's new. Stormpoint has just come out, and while I do feel like it is a fairly balanced map in terms of play, there is some verticality issues, especially when we talk about teams starting on the south side, which is very low, to the north, and how those circles may end up. So, Olympus, it's been in play before. We've now seen it for several seasons. They've added new POIs without removing any, right? So you've got additional space to work with, and they've kind of changed up what is usually the problem of the map, being the open space chokes that most teams are able to capitalize on. They've given a little bit of the finalized touches that will hopefully put it in a realm of ALGS. So that's my take. I think it's Olympus. Plenty of others have all the things to say here, though.
I will say that I am excited to see what the response is to the reworked Olympus. The point that you make there about adding more POIs, not subtracting any, is certainly going to be something I think a lot of people are going to be happy about. I would say I would be surprised if it wasn't Stormpoint to be the next map, though, because it feels like I think there were some good points pointed out about the verticality of the map, and I think you make a good point about that. For me, it feels like the general consensus of the pro community, which has heavy influence over what maps are going to be played in competitive, I think it leans towards Stormpoint. I would like to see Olympus, and I'm very excited to play the new Olympus come next week, but I would say if I'm having to predict it, I think just the consensus from the pro player and competitive community leans more in favor of Stormpoint, so I would say that is, for me, the most likely next map.
If we're going to go off some pro discussion, I will say, technically Kings Canyon is the map that they have seen the most competitive action on. I, for the love of
They all hate it, though.
They all hate it, though.
They do. All hate it. And I mean, a majority of the community does. It's really bad. It is not good. It is not good. Next up, we're talking earlier about the Horizon coming out for Team Intel, and there's been quite a few interesting additions to the Legend meta pool. One thing you wanted to talk about, which do you think is stronger? The Fuse we've seen from Furia. Zeratricky has been bringing that out. Of course, we saw the Horizon from Team Intel, and even the Loba meta that has come up over the last month. There's been quite a few teams iterating on the meta that we had seen previously. Is there a standout one for those fresh picks in the Legend territory that you think is, the premier new meta Legend?
Oh, I can't sit here and say what is the primary meta, but I definitely have my opinions for sure. A great player, by the way. I know you added Loba into the mix there, which I absolutely love. Sweet. Got to give him props. If we want to pull this one back to the Pro Night where we saw TSM mix that one up, throw Sweet into the co-IGL role. Yes. A fantastic performance from there as well. But if we're talking about metas, it can't be Loba, though. The more Lobas that are in play, the weaker the Loba becomes. So I think that's something that we might want to move away from. I'm going to lean towards Fuse because I think the pressure given, especially from things like the Knuckle Cluster, as well as the additional grenade usage, has been something that is very strong in terms of zone control. And it's something, like you brought up, that we had the opportunity to see out of Furia when we talk about last week's Open. I mean, fantastic usage of the Fuse here to pressure plenty of teams out of positions that they are more than happy and more than comfortable being in there. So personally, that's my take. Horizon, as much as I love her, is not quite to the speed as she once was that made her truly strong. And while Intel made Petty Boss on that Legend look absolutely phenomenal, I don't think it's as good, okay? So I don't think so.
You know what? That's fair. You are entitled to your opinion. I'm actually going to agree with you here, and I think the important point you point out is the zone control. The amount of utility that you bring to the table on the Fuse with the 2 charges in the Knuckle Cluster, double inventory on your grenades, the ultimate on top of that, you can control so much space and do so much work against multiple teams as well when you can throw all of this ordnance out so quickly in these chaotic fights and continue to apply pressure to these teams. Nobody is really safe if you aren't, if you're set up outside near a Fuse. He's going to drop that ultimate on top of you. His team's going to come for a push. And it's something we've seen. It has by no means become a common pick. It has still remained fringe over the last 6 to 8 months. But even if you go back and watch Champs back in June, there were Fuses in like late circles. So this is, it happens uncommonly, but it can show up. And I look forward to seeing it more. I love that Furia has been bringing it out. And I hope that we can see more teams, if not just the Fuse, just being willing to test some of these more fringe legends and see if they can maybe mold some of these picks to their play style and diversify a little bit. So definitely looking for more of that. The last one we wanted to hit is 2 of our big boys who have been very common in the recent meta. Obviously, we had the Valkyrie, Caustic, Gibraltar meta defined heavily by Sentinels and Team Esports Arena, but going into Season 12, we've got Mad Maggie coming in, and it appears we're also going to see some nerfs for our friend Caustic. And you wanted to talk about who do we think is hitting the bigger nerf, the Gibraltar or the Caustic? What are your thoughts?
Oh, that's tough. It's crazy. I write these questions myself, and I still think they're hard. So the big thing to note here is the fact that Gibby technically hasn't taken any nerf yet. We are theorizing the fact that now that Maggie is in play, there is a response towards the Dome, the response towards the Valkyrie rotation, right? Being able to put damage down inside of the Dome before they're able to get the redeployed off. These are 2 really, really big impacts that could potentially kind of pull Gibby away. Thing is, I think Gibby, no matter what though, will always have a place because as much as I love Maggie, I don't think she will be as prevalent as a lot of us are expecting, or as many as the fans right now are screaming about the counter potential. I think some will provide some good analysis, and we might see a few teams pick that one up there. But I don't think, especially that tactical, is as strong. I mean, it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. but I don't think it's going to be the complete counter to the bubble at every situation, especially because Gibby will always be prevalent, and there's going to be multiple Gibbies still in play, and that one tactical probably won't be enough here. Caustic, though, I know, we're already moving on. The Nerf now has barrels once out, 150 health on average to take them down here. I think that one's a little bit worse. Granted, you're going to have to put some ammo down, but no longer is he this impenetrable force, especially for some of these spots that we like to see our best Caustic players rat out into. So as a result, I think the push potential now kind of works, of course, against Caustic. You still have to put a lot of investment in, but it's not as dominant as what we have seen here recently. Still, it's going to take a lot of a team to pull it off, but it's doable now.
Yeah, the Caustic Nerf, I think they're doing it in the right way, where you talk about having to add that 150 damage in there to get rid of the gas traps, means that it's just not, you're not completely tossing Caustic right out of the meta. So I think that's a good middle ground. I would say Caustic players' probably initial reaction will probably be to move away from it, just because you lose that really defined control over those enclosed spaces. It is a smart change. Adding counterplay into that, I think, is important and healthy for the game. But I think it's going to mean that a lot of Caustic players are going to have to lean more heavily on that ultimate, and they can't just rely on, hey, I can just toss out a bunch of gas traps, activate them, I don't have to think about it anymore. So yeah, exactly. So it feels like a healthy change. I'm going to have to agree with you that I think Caustic takes the larger nerf, especially because it is a direct nerf to his kit. In the grand scheme of things, I would say that I don't think that Caustic's is like significantly bigger of a nerf than the Gibraltar, in terms of the fact that I think the teams that are going to drop it are the ones that felt obligated to play Caustic because of the current meta. So many teams felt like, because of teams like Sentinels and Esports Arena defining this, and so many people going to that, they had to pick up the Caustic. Everybody's playing it, we have to play it too, and I feel like those teams will now be willing to go, okay, not as strong anymore, we can counterplay into it, now we can pick up something else that we maybe feel more fits our play style. So I think while it will go down, it is not going to be completely bodied out of the meta. If teams like Caustic and think it fits the way they play the game, it's going to stay on those teams. It's just the teams that forced it into their play style will drop it. So I'm curious to see how things change. Of course, ALGS competition does return very soon. As we look to wrap up the Apex discussion here, I do want to pull up our leaderboard for Series E so we can take a look at where all 6 of our teams stand at this point in the season. So we'll slap that one up for you. Of course, no surprises, Team Vizio still holds a strong 180-point lead over Team Intel in second place. But a discussion we'd had over the last few weeks was that, hey, second to sixth was pretty close across the board. Wasn't even like 100 points separating those two places. But with what we've seen from Intel and Nerf over the last couple of weeks, has started to separate themselves from the pack, and Intel starting to define themselves as the clear number 2.
Yeah, absolutely here. And for teams like Nerf especially, who I'll have plenty to say on in a second, they've seen a gradual improvement in these last 3 weeks that have pushed them kind of consistently. Remember, if we look back, before the new year, they were in the relegated position, and consistent play across both Open and Pro has finally put Nerf in the place to usurp positions out of Splash's hand here into third for themselves. And I think they will continue to do so. There's no slowing down from this squad. And while they haven't picked up the win, just quite yet, I think it's definitely within the realm here for the future.
Definitely have my eye on a lot of these teams. But before we go, we're going to put our names on the line here and have a little bit of predictions just on, what teams do we have our eyes on going into the next week. Maybe a squad that we think is going to pop off, maybe a dark horse. So let's bring up the predictions here, and I'm going to give you the opportunity in the floor first here, Zephyr. Who is a squad that you have your eyes on going into next week?
I'm going to go for a twofer here. I already gave it away in my last statement. It's definitely Nerf. I think Turns and the rest of them have consistently shown up here, and while they haven't quite found the wins just yet, they're literally sitting in the top 5 consistently, and just maybe 1 or 2 more wins would put them in the position to take away a night for themselves here. I think they can do it. this last week looked just as good for them, albeit the insane play from Intel that might have overshadowed them. Other than that, though, I will always be happy to represent my boys, the Renegades. I love that squad, and while they aren't quite winners just yet, they are, of course, going to be my dark horse no matter what, right? And they're there. They're always there. They're waiting for their moment, Yeso.
Yeah, they may have to wait a little longer. I don't know that I'm buying in the same way that you are, Zephyr, but Zephyr has at least got his eye on Nerf, who has been a team that has, been making some waves over the last few weeks at the very least. So, you hedged your bets very well there, Zephyr. It's a good strategy. In my eyes, I've got my eyes on Team Splash. Of course, due to recent events, we dropped the old Splash roster and have brought in a brand new one here featuring multiple former Series E pros with quite a bit of experience in the league, and they came into their first night of competition on Tuesday, and while they didn't finish, I would say, as strong as they wanted to, were able to win a game in the first two, and that was impressive for me. While I don't know that they're going to come out and blow away the competition this week, I have a lot of confidence in Prodigy Aces and the kind of experience that he has in the competitive scene, and I'm looking for Splash to build off of a solid start to the season this past week, and I'm looking for them to continue the growth. They're kind of coming in late to the party, but I have a lot of faith in the players on that roster, and I'm curious to see how quickly they can kind of get their feet under them and get running here in Series E.
Hey, only 30 points separates them from a position where they're no longer relegated. And like you said, it's always going to be that learning experience. So really quickly, though, before we finish this one off and I'm sent into the realm of the void, I want to say something here as I take the floor one last time.
Do it, my friend.
I want to give a massive thank you to all of you guys over at Esports Arena. As you can see, I don a new garb. I am rocking these excellent Razer Kraken headphones now. It would not have been possible without you guys throwing one out there for me, seeing the absolute
Do you still have them? Yes, he still has them.
Broken headphones. So I cannot thank you enough for helping your boy out. And a really big shout out to Ryan. Mr. Ryan and IT over there at Esports Arena. He's specifically the one who reached out to set that one up, so my heart goes out to him especially. And I don't know what I can do for y'all, but continue to show support, continue to represent, bring the action with the ESA logo wherever I go now.
Hey, keep it up, my man. It's been a pleasure to get to see you on the cast and get to work with you. I'm excited we finally got to get together here for Series Recap. We'll make sure to do it again in the future. Production says... I specifically am being told to give a shout out to our TD out there, a bad push, Mr. Shimonahi, as well as Ghost _ out there in production. You can ignore that, Zephyr. They're just, I'm just following orders over here on the show. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to work with you, Zephyr. I'm looking forward to doing it again in the future. Thanks so much for coming to hang out, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, my man. It's always fun to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see you again.
We will definitely do it again in the future. That's going to wrap all the talk for Apex Legends. Zephyr's going to go and enjoy the rest of his weekend. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, Mr. Alex Valle will be joining me to talk some Guilty Gear Strive. Don't go anywhere.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that I was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Etc.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
It's fruit refreshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top fresh flavored splash.
It's fruit refreshing.
All right, everybody, we're back, and we're talking Guilty Gear Strive. The legend himself, Alex Valle, joining me in the studio once again. I miss you, man. It's been a few weeks. I'm good to have you back.
Oh, it's great to be back, man. You know, I was cooped up in the house too long, and that's not me, man. I'm an outgoing person, and finally, trying to get back into the swing of things. It's great to see you guys, man. For sure.
Hey, it's good to see you. It feels right having you back in the building here. We had a lot of fun watching all of the action last night. Of course, we just wrapped up week 7 of the season. It's been a roller coaster ride. Let's check out how all the action went down last night. Welcome to Series E Guilty Gear Strive. We're going to have a couple of very talented and insightful casters on the show tonight that I'm excited to welcome. Of course, our friend James Chen and our good man Charles Thorin from Beast Coast. It's going to be a fun night of games, and we're ready to go. We got 16 players in this stacked bracket here tonight, and we're ready to get it underway. So let's kick off Series E Guilty Gear Strive.
That invite hellward is doing work, and oh my god, what happened?
Garuda and Jonathan was just like, all right, cool, I'm burning my burst here. I don't have to worry about getting baited if I'm reacting to this move, right?
Right. Nice air throw now into the corner, gets the counter hit. Okay. This is what I mean. Zanto can get you in the corner. You're trapped in the corner. Look at that, there's that far S. Baiting the burst out. Get it, wow! That was half your life! Just a chop into a chop. 6H into 6H. That's it. And you gotta burst. You have to burst. You have to burst.
The fully charged does not see that too often.
So even though the slide head was a trade, it was a perfect win for Idiosyncrasy.
And the teleport back getting almost kind of like Stroke the Big Tree there in a sense, but my goodness, Idiosyncrasy getting more and more aggressive with these blood gauge moves as he's getting deeper into bracket here.
Killing Eddie just like that, and yeah, he's just flying away. Oh no! But no, he didn't go for the command grab. Oh, it doesn't matter, he had the combo. Had H just kill Eddie and then still hit Naga.
Yeah, slice through everything. Oh no!
Oh, that safe jump, he's gonna be able to land him. No, he landed and touched the button. Oh boy, is this gonna kill? Not quite. Wait, extra sword raising animation to just almost be an automatic mix-up thanks to the animation. Makes it really hard to react to them stopping after 2. Nice! He got shimmied, but then he PRC'd to keep himself safe. But look at this, Jonathan Tennais gets the hit anyway. Nicely done. And here we go. Oh, again, just God, that's so much damage off of those 2 hits. Makes out the burst. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, the blood pop, but look at this. Idiosyncrasy was still able to keep himself safe, use the burst, but I think this is going to be your life here, and game number 1 gonna go to Idiosyncrasy.
The all out does not fall for the tap dust. Gets the Beyblade, but here we go. RC to keep up the pressure. Catches him. Oh no! This is going to hurt so much.
I think you live. No, the red RC.
No, the red RC.
Yeah. Forward, gonna get some blood. There's two bars filled up here.
Yep. No. He's gonna get in for the throw towards the corner. This is huge. This is an opportunity for Jonathan Tennais. Delayed jump dust. Catches him with the low. Gonna get the wall splat. No, the back throw from Idiosyncrasy ties it up. Final game, final round. It's all on this round. Let's go. Equal burst meters as well.
Oh my goodness, the call out on the tap was such a great answer. I wonder if that's gonna like really kind of discourage Jonathan from going in for it. The backdash play has the blood gauge set up now going to 1 bar here. Has that positive bonus, gonna have a lot of meter going into these next exchanges.
Oh, there's the snipe on Eddie. He's got to build Eddie. All of a sudden, he can't keep him out anymore. There's the flame trap with the slash. Again, catching him out of the air. Can't get out. Here we go. He's got the meter. This should do it. Is this going to be the tournament win? It is. Idiosyncrasy is your champion for this week's Series E Guilty Gear Strive.
A fun show to watch last night. Idiosyncrasy comes out on top, coming from the losers bracket and winning 2 5-game series against Jonathan Tennais in grand finals to take it all. His first win in the Thursday night bracket and the second win for a Series E player, as we saw Razo take it a couple of weeks ago. What stood out to you last night, Alex?
You know, well, first and foremost, man, I'm actually really proud of Idiosyncrasy because he started strong in many early Series E's brackets. Like he would beat Hitachi first round.
He finished 3rd in week 1.
Yeah. So like he would beat previous offline like major competitors like right off the bat, and then he just in the middle of the bracket, that would be the end of his run. You know, so he's always started strong, but he couldn't really finish afterwards. So top 3 a couple times is great, but the progress is there, and now he's gotten it. He's gotten it with, of course, Titans in the bracket, Jonathan Tennais. I mentioned that he was the dark horse. I mentioned this very early. He was the kid to watch, the most dangerous kid to watch, because what do you give a kid that's learning a game at such a rapid pace that a lot of players are not going to be used to? Somebody that can play any style that he wants just for fun, so fast, so young, and keep it going. Because when you're a veteran, you kind of like are stuck in your ways. You just like, I'm gonna use A, B, and C only. I'm comfortable with that. I'm the best at A, B, and C. But what are you gonna do with a kid that has Z? You know, T and W, and you know, I'm telling you, yo, this. I got so much more to say, but Jonathan Tennais, also the most consistent player now.
Yeah,
the most.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like every single week, Jonathan is almost like a guaranteed top 3. It's just like, can he get over the hump? This is the second time, I think, in 3 weeks that he has come from winners and sadly not been able to finish. It was a couple weeks ago when Razo came, he beat Razo in winners finals, and then Razo came back, forced a reset and won. And then Idiosyncrasy, of course, able to force a reset and win last night. So I know Jonathan has obviously got to be kicking himself, frustrated because the opportunities have been there. But it feels like, I think you make a great point. He's right there. And it's going to happen. It feels like just a matter of time because his Zato seems to be really feared in this bracket. And there's a reason he consistently gets up into those top 3, top 4 situations. Just got to finish. And I think even showing right there the fact that they went to 5 games both time, Jonathan was even that much closer. So I think it is coming very, very soon for Jonathan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the best advice for Jonathan is use each one of these close losses as the motivation to stay on top. Because now we're halfway through the season. We're just about halfway through the season. And now he's the most consistent. Even though he hasn't won, now he has a big bullseye on his back.
Definitely.
Huge bullseye. So keep it up, my man.
Let's pull up the top 8 from last night. We can just kind of look at how everything else panned out. Interesting to note, of course, Idiosyncrasy had to win 8 sets last night to win the whole thing. Of course, coming from losers adds that extra push, but that is a lot of Guilty Gear to play, and Idiosyncrasy looked really nice. And you can look at the names that he took out in the bracket as well. A 3-0 against Dawn, taking out Tempest, beating Shine in losers finals. Mira, who looked really, really good last night. Mira was insane last night, and Idiosyncrasy able to take the 3-0 there. So that's not, you want to talk about taking out Titans, that's a hell of a run in terms of the opponents that Idiosyncrasy had to face last night.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, this would be a typical run for Idiosyncrasy, and then halfway through, get into losers, and then we don't really hear from him anymore. But now, he really wrecked shot. Like, he turned it up. I think he found his stride, because I was looking at the previous brackets, and it seems that he's been losing to not the top tiers.
Yeah.
He's been losing to, like, the Enos. He's been losing to, like, the Zatos, the characters that aren't, like, always at the top 3. Okay? So he had to kind of go back into the lab and figure out, all right, I'm used to fighting the Leos. I'm used to fighting, the Souls and all the crazy damage characters. But all these, like, weird characters, they're just throwing me off. And it's great to see him now being ready for all that. Because that's what this is. That's what the whole point of this is, to understand how you're going to prepare for every single matchup and not get like a wrench thrown to your game plan. Because you can't just practice against top tiers. You have to practice versus the whole character select screen. That's the only way you're going to get through this.
Yeah, everybody, make sure you're labbing against Jacko, because we'll talk a little bit more about somebody else a little later on in the show. But like Jacko's one of those. So you got to make sure you know how to play in that matchup. Let's talk about a couple of non-Series E tournaments. First, let's go back to last weekend and talk about Frosty Faustings. Both Solstice and Razzo went to compete. Both placed top 8. Razzo getting second place behind, of course, Hotashi, who won it all. Solstice finishing in 5th, 6th. The Series E players representing really, really well last weekend.
Oh, that was such a treat. And shout outs to Elvin Shadow and Mike the Greek Jonas for running a fantastic Frosty Faustings 2022. That tournament, praised by like how safe of an environment that they made it for the players, doing the COVID testing, and just made everybody very, very safe, and everybody had a good time. So shout out to them first and foremost. Talking about that top 8 bracket, 7 of the 8 players play at Series E. That's crazy. Like you mentioned, like the of course the 2 Series E players, Razzo and Solstice. Got Hotashi in there. Stealthy made it in there.
Stealthy, getting in the top 8, that match was nuts. And you could tell Stealthy was like blown away after that set, but that was so cool. And Stealthy seemed so psyched about that result. And Adventurous pop up too, getting into top 8 was super sick.
Kizzy K made it in there. Like this is very interesting, because normally you would see just your offline favorite players, or the most consistent offline players, but now you're kind of like seeing this mirror effect of the online and offline is just about, it's very close. In back in at least 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you would see a bit of like online players would flourish in the online tournaments and the brackets. You would see them there, but they wouldn't really make it as far when they would play in majors. This is like that. This is that good netcode. Good netcode does this. The constant competition with these players are practicing against each other every single week. That is actually a huge change, because if you didn't really have this, well, how would you practice for it? Like, you would have to make appointments to fight these players. And that's how it is in the modern day. Like online, you'll be like, hey. Can you play today? I'm like, oh no, I'm working. I got this thing. How about like tomorrow at 6 p.m. And like, you got to do. No, I'm telling you,
you got your whole planner just for your like scrim sets as if you're getting ready for that big tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Or you have like a Wednesday night fights, which has these players ready to go. Or you got the Series E, the Invitational. You do well, you're going to be playing these players every week. That's how you do it.
I want to take a little sidetrack on Frosty, just because I don't come from an FGC background. But thankfully, because of Series E Guilty Gear Strive, I've dove more deeply into it. And watching Frosty Faustings over the weekend, and I specifically heavily watched top 24 all the way to the end. The commentary in FGC is so good. We obviously have James Chen every week here on Series E. We get Charles on there, St. Cola, Yipes and Dynamite doing top 24. Those guys, the pace in which they're able to mix all the puns and jokes that they make in with the references, and then also just very clear, consistent, and interesting commentary on the matches is so impressive. I was blown away. Of course, Cola was awesome doing top 8, but like I was just sitting there listening to Yipes and Dynamite. I was like, these guys are nuts. They are so good at what they do.
Yeah, a lot of these commentators' accolades, some of the favorite ones are the ones that are the best storytellers. Yipes is, obviously he's a golden mic man. He knows every player, every action, every joke, every like what you feel the match is about. If it's bunk or if it's bust ass, he'll let you know. Like he keeps it real, and then it's so easy for his co-commentator just to like piggyback off anything he does because he just backs and forth with you. Just have his normal conversation with you, chops it up. Yeah. And Dynamite, he's been doing a lot of Wednesday Night Fights commentaries as well. A lot of commentary in the Midwest. He's done Arc Revo before as well. So he knows what's up. He knows how to get the people in gear. A lot of great analysis type commentary as well. But it just makes his job easier when he's with Yipes. Yeah. And then you see already Cola. Cola is just a beast on the mic now. Is one of the commentators that shine for the past few years. He's been doing everybody's events during the pandemic for the past 2 years. So shout out to my man Saint Cola for tearing it up on the mics.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I just had to make sure I give a shout out because FGC commentary is just, that's another level. It was really fun to watch last weekend. Of course, we've looked back at Frosty Faustings. Now let's look forward. You wanted to talk about Arc Revo. You said, you told me before we came on that the bracket just came out. So what are you looking forward to most this weekend with Arc Revo?
Ooh, Arc Revo. As I said, so Level Up is producing the Arc Revo US West. It's a region lock tournament taking place tomorrow, this weekend, on February 5th and 6th. Pools will not be streamed. However, top 16 on Saturday will, and top 8 on Sunday will. And this is the West Coast, baby. We got Kizzy K in the house. We got Razor Dawn in the house. We got Vizio, Jonathan, Tennais in the house. We got Apology Man. We got, oh my gosh, we got a whole bunch of crazy competition in the West Coast. This is the last one. This is the last one to qualify for the finale event taking place in March. Okay. So Arc System Works has it's their tour. It's called Arc Revo. They've been doing it for the past year, celebrating their game that just came out, which is Guilty Gear Strive, and they've been doing a phenomenal job getting a bunch of qualifier spots for various regions, of course, North America, Europe, Asia, and what have you, Latin America. So it's been great. Shout outs to such a wonderful supporter of anime games, and here we are, keeping the action going.
Do you have a favorite or two going into the weekend? Maybe a player or two that you have your eye on that you think, all right, these are the most dangerous players in that bracket for this weekend?
So here's an interesting take. Online, Kizzy K is like, he does great, but it's not the offline Kizzy K. Kizzy K offline is an absolute monster. He plays I don't think he's plays anything under top 8, and I don't think any under top 5. Yeah, he's just been like that good, and that's just his habitat, right? So, I have high hopes for him on this upcoming tournament because it's my boy. I have Kizzy K. He's been playing in our events for so many years. But it's still online, and there's dark horses and Series E competitors that are freaking like taking it to the next level, pushing the meta of Guilty Gear Strive in North America. Jonathan Tennais, right? Okay, that's the I'd probably see them both in grand finals. Okay, Dawn is going to torment people with his Eno, right? But it's a matter of the issue of Eno. It's like she's glass. Yeah. You touch her and that's about it. And
as soon as you get trapped in the corner, you're done.
It's too many landmines in this tournament, right? So you not only does he have to play on point, both defense and offense have to be like pristine. That's kind of like playing chip. I don't know how Bean does it.
Nobody does.
I don't know how he does it, but you can't get touched in a game that's so squishy, meaning that you just like a sponge, you blow up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. There's just so many players from Pacific Northwest as well as that's going to be joining in this tournament. And you never know. This is a lot of these players that don't enter the weekly events. They're coming out for the first time. You never know. This might be their time to shine.
We'll definitely keep an eye on Arc Revo this weekend. Again, February 5th and 6th. Going to be a good time. Keep an eye out for top 16 starting tomorrow. Well, I hope you have been studying, Alex, because I got a little pop quiz for you today. I had a lot of fun last night, kind of fishing through all of the stats for this season for our players based on, set win rates and average placement and the way that players have been performing so far in this season. So I've got a little pop quiz for you. Let's start off with our first question. Alex, which of these players has the best average placement on Thursday nights without winning a bracket? Your options are House of Bacon, Adventure, Jonathan Tennais, and Supernoon.
That is Jonathan Tennais. Hands down.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's got to be Jonathan Tennais.
Alex is going to say Jonathan Tennais. So we'll put that answer up on the board. And in Twitch chat, feel free to hit us with your answers. The correct answer is, drum roll in chat, please. Hit it. It's Adventure. There it is.
Oh, is it Adventure?
It is Adventure.
Wait,
so going through the stats, it's very close. Adventure's average placement, 5.2. Jonathan Tennais, 5.7. Adventure has only missed top 8 once in the 5 weeks that he has come out to compete.
Oh my gosh.
Second place, third place, 5th, 7th, and 9th. So it's very, very close. And when you talk about Jonathan Tennais, I would say if this was just 2022, if it didn't include the first 2 weeks, it probably would be Jonathan because he's got like 3 or 4 second place finishes.
Yeah.
But Adventure has been really consistent, almost always in the top 8. Looking forward to seeing Adventure come back, of course. Had a really good showing at Frosty Faustings, but a very, very close one. That's a good guess because the other two, House of Bacon and Supernoon, both at 6.3. Gotcha. You were almost right there. Second question here. Which of these players had the best debut in the Series E bracket? House of Bacon, Shine, Flash, or Idiosyncrasy? The best debut.
That would be Shine. That would be Shine. I think it's just Shine and Razo have been the guys to beat in the beginning. And I just remember the first few, Shine was doing some damage. So let's see.
Let's see. Alex says Shine, and the correct answer is in fact Shine.
Yeah.
Week 1, Shine finished second place. Another player who has struggled to miss top 8 has actually placed top 6 in 5 of the 6 weeks that he has competed. Only week 6 that he placed outside of it at 9th. So Shine has been incredibly consistent and did come out of the gate really, really strong. That was the week that Diaphone won it all. That was fun. We got that. And my favorite part about that week too was we got mirror matches in the bracket because we got to see Diaphone versus Dawn, and we got to see Hotashi and against Idiosyncrasy in the first week. So that was a really, really cool way to start the season. All right, Alex, 1-1 so far on the questions. Let's go to my final question here. Who has the highest set win rate this season? Your choices are Razo, Shine, Bean, and Hotashi.
Damn, that's hard.
There's a lot of really strong players there, and specifically 2 players that have won 2 brackets apiece with Bean and Hotashi.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I am going to say. I'm going to say Bean.
Alex is going to say Bean. The correct answer to who has the highest set win rate this season is Hotashi. It is incredibly close. First of all 4 of these players all win more than 60% of their sets. Shine is the lowest at 62.5. Bean and Hotashi are so close. Bean is at 69.6%, 70.8% for Hotashi. Hotashi literally just has 1 more set win. He is 17-7. Bean is 16-7. So it was really cool to pull through these stats and just look at the players that are consistently placing real well, and look at those really long runs that build out these really good set win rates. It's just crazy to think that through 7 weeks of play, both Bean and Hotashi have only lost a total of 7 sets.
Yeah, I mean, so Bean hasn't played in, I don't think, as many events as Hotashi.
Bean has been in 5. Hotashi has been in 6 of the weeks. So.
Yeah, so I considered that, and I considered how many times Bean has won, and any time that he's lost, he's came back, like all the way. So like, I don't think he's placed less than top 5 at all. You know, maybe one time.
Maybe once, I think.
Maybe one. And then Hotashi, yeah, he won, but he didn't go into losers. But when he wins, he 3-0s a lot of people. So I'm like, oh man, this is hard. And then so I'm like, you know what? Let's give it to my chip boy, because I think that would be the struggle.
It's incredibly close, and it's very clear that Bean and Hotashi have been very clearly the 2 best players so far in the Thursday bracket. But it's really cool to see both Razo and Shine right on their heels, and we've even yet to see Shine win a bracket yet, and still with a very good-looking win rate. It feels like Shine has had almost a little bit, not to the same extent, but a little bit of the same kind of trajectory that we've seen for Idiosyncrasy.
Yes.
You were highlighting earlier that really strong start, hit a bit of a lull, looking to rebound right now. Shine, not to the same extent though, because I think he followed up a second place with like 2 fourth-place finishes, and again, still a threat to get into top 6 every single week, is almost a guarantee to do so. I'm just waiting for Shine because, you know, coming into the season, we do all those predictions, and Shine was my pick to win Series E, and he's still right on Razo's heels. Of course, Jonathan Tennais is making things very uncomfortable at the top of the standings as well, and I do want to pull up our Series E standings right now as we just continue to talk about this. But Shine, another player that feels just right on the cusp. That Potemkin play is so good. So many different players struggle to match up well with him in the bracket on a week-to-week basis. And oh, look at that.
Yep.
With the showing last night, Jonathan Tennais has stolen first place away from Razo.
Yeah, you know, the kid, when there's a new kid on the block that is taking this very seriously, but finding the fun, really hard to beat. Razo is, from the get-go, I think Razo was going to win the season. Just the consistency throughout both environments, offline and online, just tells that story, right? You might figure out Shine's style, Razo's style playing versus him many times, but he's clutch. You know? And we've seen it time and time again. Shine, my goodness, I don't know how Potemkin could live, like, you know, every week, like, and trying to not get bullied in the corner by just slow movements all day long. But Shine is the most feared Potemkin in the country. So, does he have the best read in Guilty Gear? That's the question. And you know, can he keep that like gas pedal on? Because that's a lot of mental stat. You know, that you're just kind of like, all right, I have to deal with Eno, and I get knocked down once, and it's just like a annoying like B. I can't like get around. Oh, hey, look, I gotta fight. I gotta fight Nagaryuki in the beginning of the round. He just like starts the Beyblade and stuff, and I just gotta block for like a minute. You know, so like he just has to be ahead in the beginning of the round 1 fight. He's already preemptively watching out for himself because he can't start blocking. If he starts blocking, he's blocking for a very long time compared to other characters with like DPs, you know, free movement, double dashing, a dash, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just give my man a lot of props to sustain that placement.
He's been really good. Before we wrap up talking about Guilty Gear here, we do have to put our predictions, put our names and our reputations on the line, let's say. So our predictions for who we have our eyes on next week. I will say mine is on Dawn. I was looking at Razo after the performance in winning in week 6, but I'm looking at Dawn here. I was actually really impressed with Dawn's first 3 sets last night. I believe it took Shine to a full 5 games. I really like what I'm seeing from Don lately. He went on Twitter last night, was talking about, I need to work on finishing. I need to be able to close out these sets, and there are always things you can improve on. But I think Don trending in the right direction. Don feels really close to having that big breakout performance. So my eye is on him, especially going into this weekend with Arc Revo.
Yeah, no, it's a solid pick because Don also has been placing really high in Wednesday night fights. So it's
second place this week behind Solstice. So.
Yes, and won Wednesday night fights a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So like these results matter because it builds confidence. You need the confidence going into the next week. Build that momentum. Get in there because you see the work paying off, right? So it's a really solid pick. And I would also say like Don, Mira, like Adventure has really leveled up their game from like in the beginning. Like it was really rough, but now it's crazy good. So kudos to them. As far as predictions, I am gonna go with Jonathan Tennais.
Okay.
I think
not a bad pick
I
either.
think Jonathan Tennais is just getting started. To be honest, I think it's just like, oh, like, yeah, I lost here. This is what I probably could have done. And that's what I probably could have done, and laughs about it. I remember that mindset. I remember that mindset because how many times is he in that situation now, and consistently that he can just. I mean, he plays a character too that is really. It's. Do you really learn to fight against that character, or you just kind of like have to unorthodox your way out of it? Because it's not just fighting like an A, B, and C. Like I said, an A, B, and C character. Zato is all
Jonathan
over,
is different.
It's all over the place. Like you're, it's a hard player to study against, and then vice versa. He'll just like, okay, let me open another. Like I think his strategies can open and develop in the big picture compared to what you can do to him.
Yeah,
that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah,
so,
I'm looking forward to watching Jonathan Tennais representing Vizio and Series E this weekend at Arc Revo. Going to be a good time. He's going to have a tough test ahead of him, but I'm looking forward to it. That's going to do it here, though, for Guilty Gear. Alex, always good to talk to you, my man. Thanks so much for coming to hang out. Best of luck with the production this weekend. That is going to wrap it, though, for Guilty Gear. We're going to a quick break, but when we come back, my friend Tony, Why Not Be Reckless, joining me to talk some Halo Infinite. Don't go anywhere.
Favorite just gets dwindled down to the United one.
I just have to put it out. Snake fight gonna come out on top, and now the damage has been done. G2's on their back.
The series to go the distance, and that means Optic Gaming needs to wake up, and it appears that they've started to do so.
Last but not least, we're going to hit some Halo Infinite talk, and I'm joined by a man who is kind of a big deal, my friend, Why Not Be Reckless, a.k.a. Why Not Be Casting. Tony, it is good to see you, good to hear your voice, my friend. How are we today?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's really good to be here. I was actually jamming out to the music. I'm kind of upset that you cut it off. I'm really either way. It was actually dope. Shout out to my boy. Who's the one that makes the music and actually edits the videos?
My
I believe
man.
it's made by Phil, to my knowledge. Let me tell you, the man is filthy when it comes to putting the edits together and making the music. So the name does suit him. Shout out to Phil.
Yes, sir. I could not agree more. And you know what? If you missed the music, I actually got a little more for you. Of course, we kicked off the action for Series E Halo Infinite this week. We had our first qualifier on Monday to see who was going to join us to start off the inaugural season of Series E Halo Infinite. Let's check out how all the action broke down in this edit by Made by Filth.
Welcome, everyone. We're here. Halo Series E Esports Arena. Guys, winner gets a sponsorship with Esports Arena stuff. I'm excited to see the Halo action today. Chronicle to get forward, but looks like the slaves are getting traded out left and right. Oh, look at that. Rammy using that for us.
This is not going to work. And looks like we're actually on Bazaar.
Oh, Bazaar. We're talking about the sandbox. This is the map. Oh, my God.
Here we go. We see Chronicle with the Angler again. Oh, with the 1-2 combo.
Seconds away from doing this. Oh, Chronicle almost got ninja, but he gets the job done. Ma goes down, sword back into the hands of Dan as he's pushing to A, and he has 2, and this could be a quick double. 1 slice, 2 slice, goodbye! Word. Take a look at the slaves. Chronicle rocking with 16, and he could make it 18. He finds the first. Don't do it to him! Oh!
I would be very afraid to go up against this team.
Oh, this team, you can tell they practice. Oh, no, Collect, come on.
Oh,
come on,
my
bud, come
God.
on, bud. Which way you run it, they're often going to spawn either at lockers or at bottom rockets. Did you see that tech from Carmea? The 2 shots, he drops the weapon off. He says, okay, I don't need you anymore, Mangler. I got a couple pairs of boom booms in my pocket.
Alright, but this hallway is just such a deep hallway. He doesn't know which one to focus on, but he does get the Mangler.
They gave up the shock rifle. They don't have A control anymore. And now Incognito, they're going to start running away with it in the kill feed. That's 2 for Cycle.
The connect on the sword and goes down, unfortunately. With the shock rifle, I need to deal with me.
Yeah, look, I mean, look how skillful this is. He just throws it in and he's like, yeah, you're going to cook, baby. It's just, you're just making the room a microwave and it's ever so more likely. As Chronicle pushes around. Oh, yeah, he has a 1v2. Oh my God!
Careful here. You're going to take a 1v2 and you're low health, but he is pursuing. He knows that.
And that's Collect who has the sniper rifle in hand. He's going to have the one-on-one. Look at it. Oh my, so far they haven't been able to do so. Collect jumps up. Ball will go into their hands. It's only 2 seconds away. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let your main slayer be. Collect finding kills on the map. Look at this. Gets the heat wave now. Double kill for him as he looks for the triple. Oh, the repulse plays. Banking it. Boom finds the cleanup. Look at this. He's not even done. He comes back. What a play from Collect. Getting damage on them all. Walls of Jericho. They can't get it. Collect's haunting their dreams. He's coming for his rent money. He's coming to Collect. Stay away.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. This man is all over the map. W stops it. What are you? Bone's like, that's a 1-shot player. Let me pull out my sniper for this 1-shot. He does hit the next one. There we go. Great shot. Hit another one. Double kill.
Goodness.
He's looking for the 3rd. Come on, triple. Overshield is up. It could be an overkill. Boom. Take the shots. And the setup for We Love Anime. This is their chance to take the lead and have the position to close this game. As Chronicle puts in damage, the way he moves across the map, he knows where they're coming from. The man is on another level. He's not stopping. He's looking for the knock rifle. No enemies to be found quite yet, guys. This We Love Anime squad gonna be your players in red. Back towards A, and he will do so. He could have committed with C and double hop. Instead, he comes back. He's playing hero. Chronicle gets the kill. The reset's in. Oh, that was so close. That could have been the choke of the century. It could still be the choke. 248. Collect in B. They get it, and that down the shield. It's not enough though. And look at this. Carmea getting behind enemy lines towards A. And Funk Bomb, he knows what he needs to do. He's rotating back, and he gets perfect timing. Finds the first. That's gonna be another double kill for him. And Walls of Jericho gonna have to retreat, retrain, and figure out how to regain.
huge for them. If they didn't have those rockets, it honestly would have been over for them right there. I think they might actually be able to make this back.
I'm sorry, I'm choking over
Are
here.
you okay?
I'm choking. I'm choking. Peaky Blinders, what's going on?
Oh my
You're
God.
choking.
Are you?
This is insane.
Okay.
Putting their feet, digging them in, and every time it goes one direction, the other one, they find their second burst and they answer back strongly. Look at this. Jericho got behind the opposing team, but it doesn't.
Incognito is really good at holding angles, but we did see that same map knowledge from Anime as well, and there is another kill on there, and there, ooh, 2. Now they're
completely evaded Piggy X, and now C stays in their hands, and we've seen this time and time again from We Love Anime. The trip caps have proven to be too much, and they're just holding this. I mean, look how this game is just getting out of hand so quickly as Collect is able to find the tree, go down. It's Tony Sunbai's lonesome. He got a huge kill on B. He has a repulse. He misses the repulse. He doesn't get the kill. C going into the favor of We Love Anime at the same time. They're going to be able to get 2. A going to transfer. They just need to hold for 8 seconds. One player pushing towards C. Rami has a big fight. Rami gets the trade. That takes him off for the time being. They're getting closer. 3 more seconds. Is anyone there? No, they're not. We Love Anime. Able to.
That was unfortunate.
Oh, he wanted to throw him off. It didn't work.
There it is.
He threw
But
off
we got
his
that
ball.
one.
Oh my God, the comeback almost happened on Strongholds. Oddball, they're literally 1 second away from losing it 2-0. They win round 2. There's so many key moments, but it's when you can clutch up, when you can be icy, when everything's on the line, that determines the winners from the losers. $600 for We Love Anime, and most importantly, a sponsorship. They're not unsigned anymore.
We love anime. Congratulations and welcome to Series E. Keep an eye out for Incognito next week. Remember, there is one more qualifier next Monday, February 7th, 4th to 9th. For myself, the entire live broadcast crew, to everybody here at Esports Arena, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. One qualifier in the books and one more to go, as you just saw myself say. We Love Anime have officially qualified as the first team into Series E Halo Infinite, a roster consisting of Rami, Boom X, Neuronical, and Collect. Got it. All jumping into Series E this season, and they had a really strong run on Monday night, Tony. A full 13-3 map record, so they only dropped 3 maps in the entire tournament, and despite dropping that first map to Incognito in grand finals, recovered quickly to win 3-1 and secure their spot. What jumped out to you about this team on Monday night?
I mean, We Love Anime. I mean, this is a squad. I've been there, done that squad. It's actually captained by Boom X, who's been around for quite some time. Boom, back in Halo 5, before kind of switched over to the half radar and the pistol settings. Back when the assault rifles were still around, man. Boom was putting in that work, so he's been there, done that kind of player. Where Incognito, the team that they beat, was made up of a little bit of some up and coming players. Look at Piggy saying he's very young and very, very talented. Wouldn't be surprised to see him do some things. And I remember, I think Walls of Jericho was there with Shield U and Nikolai. Another couple of young guns who were trying to make a name for themselves. And this is what Series E is all about. You know, you have really young guns who are trying to make a name for themselves. I'm a big fan of Series E. And to be honest with you, we've had a great showing and some fantastic talent. I want to see more. I'm calling out a few players that I didn't see. I'm calling out the Durfs. I'm calling out Firebird, Alleluia, Mortally, Diagram, and his twin brother Avenue. Speaking of twins, the Phasals and Suddets, Zod, Article, Stress. There's plenty of players that are really talented that aren't on top orgs that I feel like Series Z would be perfect for them. If you wouldn't mind letting the guys know a little bit what Series Z is all about, because I know, you know, obviously you guys have been doing a lot with Guilty Gear and a whole lot with Apex. We're still new with Halo, so if you wouldn't mind running it down for them so we can let everybody know why they should be playing in these qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys don't know, take notes. Of course, Series Z is, a professional esports open circuit. As Tony mentioned, we've got Apex Legends, we've got Guilty Gear Strive. We're just kicking off Halo Infinite right now. And Series Z is all about giving those no-name players, those up-and-coming talents who haven't broken into the mainstream, haven't gotten signed by a team, the opportunity to show their stuff. If you qualify through the open qualifiers, you're going to sign a contract, you're going to get partnered with one of our partner brands, you're going to get a monthly contract, a monthly salary, I should say. So that means you get paid to compete. You get to compete weekly for points and prize money. So you get that monthly salary, and you can win prize money every single week. You can represent Esports Arena. You can talk about Apex Legends. Our #1 team from Season 3 got signed to an even better contract as Team Esports Arena. They've gone on to compete in the ALGS. They finished 3rd last week. So it's all about giving you that opportunity to take your first step in esports. Maybe you haven't had the time. It's too hard to make that commitment because you're doing it for free, right? We want to pay you to compete. Come out, play against top talent, right? With the way that the Halo circuit's going to be set up, you'll be playing in similar brackets to what we saw on Monday, that open bracket. Everybody comes through to fight. But if you qualify, you're also going to get to compete on Wednesday nights against invited teams. You're probably going to see your Cloud9s, your Sentinels, your G2 coming in to fight with you. So if you want to get to play against those top teams, work on your craft, show your stuff, take a step towards the next level, Series Z is where you want to do it. We Love Anime, already going to get that opportunity. One more team will have a shot to qualify this coming Monday. So you heard Tony calling out some of your names. If you heard your name in there, make sure you sign up. Head over to matcherino.com/ESA to sign up. If you need more info, head over to esportsarena.com. But that's what it's all about. Come in, take your first step, get that big opportunity, and take advantage of it. Tony, we talked about We Love Anime. You highlighted Incognito a little bit there, and I was talking about them at the end of the show on Monday, as that may be kind of the odds-on favorite going into next week's competition. Do you agree? I know you mentioned Walls of Jericho. Do you think they have a shot to maybe challenge Incognito?
Neither have a shot.
Oh,
Incognito's great. Walls of Jericho is great. And don't get me wrong. I mean, these are two very talented and up-and-coming squads. You haven't seen the best of the amateur and semi-professional teams yet. When I think of, for example, H5 settings, that's made up of Persecute, Demons, and those guys. Those guys were so young and so talented in Halo 5, and that's carried over to Halo Infinite, where they've made it out of open bracket and ultimately into the Pro Series. I'm looking at, like I said, squads like Stress, that might team up with the FFA winner Gunplexion and make a squad of their own. Maybe join Article. That was a really top squad as well that used to do some things. I think they'll be in the top 3 and top 4 again going to next qualifier, but you haven't seen the best of the best just yet. And I'm going to make sure that I reach out to a few guys and I make some videos and show and make sure that they come out and play the next qualifier, because this is too good. I mean, you're talking about literally a monthly salary, talking about what our top orgs are doing.
Yeah.
But also for you guys, the community and the super talented ones at that. So Incognito, no disrespect. No disrespect to Nikolai and Shoju and the boys either. They're phenomenal. But we haven't seen the best sign up yet, and I think we will see them in the second qualifier.
If you missed out on Monday night, don't miss out next week. The tournament starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Showtime is 5 p.m. Pacific. Get in that bracket. Go sign up right now. We want to see you compete. We want to see you win that slot in Series E. Let's push forward to outside of Series E and talk a little bit HCS Pro Series as well as HCS Anaheim, which is coming up next weekend. I want to pull up the teams right now that qualified for Anaheim. Of course, we're going to have to talk about Cloud9, but let's just look at the crop of squads that will be going to Anaheim next weekend, and specifically 2 of them are a couple teams we've already talked about. We Love Anime and Incognito will both be going to Anaheim next weekend to compete, but that is a strong crop of teams. You see the top 8 from Raleigh, including Cloud9, United, FaZe Clan, Sentinels, Space Station, G2, Optic, and Pioneers, along with some fresh orgs and unsigned talent. It's going to be a very fun competition in Anaheim.
Yes. And if I can just make sure that we let everybody know about this. So, yes, this is a LAN. Yes, this is a regional. And normally there's an open bracket. You know, Halo's not, you know, other I guess esports are moving away from the open bracket. Halo still has an open bracket because of COVID and other different things that were going on in that area. They decided to move the open bracket to an open qualifier, and that made only the top 16 teams that are going to be coming out to Anaheim and to California. So again, I want everybody to realize that the top 8 qualify, the top 8 teams on the bottom half of your screen, those are the ones that played in the qualifier and earned their right to make it to pro brackets. Like in Raleigh, we had an open bracket. The top 8 teams made it into pro bracket. Same thing here. The only difference is that the open bracket was done online to try to be as safe as possible, because a lot of moving pieces going on in California. So things happen. So I want to make sure that was clear. There was an open bracket, just like there was in Raleigh. Top 8 teams moving into pro bracket. Top 16 teams total are going to be competing, and it's going to be the best of the best. I love me some Cloud9, United FaZe, even KCP. I made it in the top 8 as well, where you have partner teams like Fnatic, newly partnered teams, and also Oxygen Esports and Exit, big names, had to fight their way through the open to earn their right into the top 16. We're missing teams like Status Quo.
Yeah,
we're missing plenty of teams. I was surprised that Status Quo didn't make it out, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting to be at Anaheim, and I can't wait to watch some top action.
I'm looking forward to it. We are kind of running up against the end of the show here, so I really want to hit No, that's not on you, Tony. That's not on you. Trust me, I was talking all day with Zephyr and Valle. That's on me. Don't worry about it. The one thing I do want us to hit on before we wrap the show here is Sentinels and C9. I talked about it on last week's series recap. Of course, Cloud9 won Raleigh, then went on to win all 4 HCS Pro Series weeks running into Anaheim. My point last week was, I'm looking at you, Sentinels fans. You do not get to put an asterisk on this C9 era just because Royal 2 wasn't there, because C9 has been bodying everybody. Do you agree, and how strong do you think Sentinels is going into Anaheim? Is C9 under some serious threat now?
I'm really excited about the whole C9 and Sentinels rivalry. You know, I mean, just a generation ago, you had Splice versus Tox, which is literally the same exact squad as far as Sentinels, and then 3/4 of that Splice roster with Penguin instead of Shotzi. So I'm really excited about this rivalry going forward. Obviously, Sentinels bringing World 2 back in after not being eligible to compete is going to be really exciting. Those are the intangibles that you have to think about. World 2 is already such a dangerous player and a dangerous slayer, but now he's coming out with something to prove, saying, hey, look, you saw what Formal was in this roster. Let me tell you, Formal was an absolute demon in his own right, but World 2 has been competing with these guys for so long, you cannot replace that with any player. I don't care who it is. It could be me out there, and although I'd be close, even I could have replaced the chemistry and the slang of prowess of Royal 2. I'm here to tell you guys, Cloud9 have been phenomenal. They've been undefeated since Raleigh. They are the favorites and the #1 seed for a reason. If you had to put money down, I'm sure you would put it on Cloud9. But you would lose that money, because Cloud9 are not winning Anaheim. If you give me Cloud9 or the field, I will concede that Cloud9 are the favorites. But as a mathematician that I am, if you give me one team or the field, they better be that damn good. And let me tell you, Cloud9 are amazing. But there you got FaZe, you got Sentinels. Don't forget about Optic. G2 are on the rise. KCP, the ultimate underdogs. I can keep going on if you want. Cloud9 are not winning Anaheim. There's going to be a new team out there. And you know what? Cloud9 might even make the grand finals. That's how confident I am that all these teams are elevating, and I'm excited to see them. You might see a FaZe Sentinels. You might see a Sentinels Optic. You might even see G2 or KCP just splashed on in there. Cloud9 may not even make the grand finals because there's so much talent that you're shoving in to just one room, and anything can happen, baby. It's any given Sunday.
And that is a spicy take there, Tony. All I'm going to ask you then is, you said, it's Cloud9 on the field. I want you to just one team. You've got to pick one team. Who is it? Is it Sentinels? Is it Optic? Is it FaZe? Who's the one team you got?
I don't want to say Sentinels. I feel like Sentinels have been, although they've been practicing, they haven't had tournament play together for quite some time. So I don't want to go Sentinels.
Okay.
I think Sentinels are going to be amazing. I will give me FaZe. Why not? Give me FaZe.
Yes.
FaZe have been fantastic.
Yes, Tony. Yes, Tony. I'm all about that. We had you in the FaZe jersey a month ago. You know, I'm on the FaZe hype train. I am so happy you said that. You know what, Tony? Hey, I'm going to join you there. I'm on the FaZe hype train. If it's not Cloud9, I'm taking FaZe. I'm all about it. I'm looking forward to it. Tony, thank you so much.
You're not cutting the feed, Ghost. I see you in the chat. You ain't cutting the feed. I said what I said, and you can record it too. Cloud9 not winning.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cut in my feed. You ain't cutting.
Yeah,
I am Esports Arena. You see the name in front. It says ESA. Why not? I am Esports. You're gonna cut it. I'll cut you right now.
For reference,
FaZe are winning a tournament this year, and they may just win Anaheim.
Ghost is just salty. Ghost is a Sentinels fan. So he's not happy about that Sentinels slander. Yeah, we'll see. Tony, thank you so much for coming to hang out, man. I always appreciate getting to talk to you and getting to hear your insight. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week as well. You're going to be in town, man. We're going to put you on this couch.
I will definitely be at Esports Arena next weekend. I will 100% will be in-house at Esports Arena next weekend. Yes, at Esports Arena.
Dude. I'm so
Esports
excited.
Arena.
Yes. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week at Esports Arena. Thanks so much for coming to hang out, my man. Of course, as we look forward to next week, we still have plenty of action ahead of us. We'll be kicking week 8 off of the season here. We'll have Halo Infinite qualifiers number 2 on Monday night. Again, that showtime is 5 p.m. Pacific. And then we'll round out the week with Apex Legends Tuesday and Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Guilty Gear on Thursday as well at 4 o'clock. Don't forget about Wednesday night fights as well. It may not be on twitch.tv/esports arena, but our friends at Level Up Live do great work putting on that event, putting on that production. That is Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And of course, back here for Friday series recap and our old giveaway winner, Draxmas. Yeah, production griefing me by throwing up an old giveaway graphic. Thank you, production. I love you guys. Always keeping things interesting. But that is your Series E schedule for next week. Don't miss any of that. We're going to close this show, folks. My name is Yeso. It's been a pleasure to come and hang out with you all today. Hope you enjoyed the show and all of my incredible guests. That's going to do it. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. We'll see you again next time.